It is I, John Reagan, the uncommon voice for the common man, coming to you today live from Shadyside, Ohio, home of our illustrious 6th Congressional District Congressman, Big City Charlie Wilson. Today I'd like to talk about racism with the Arizona immigration bill. Well, sort of. What I'd like to talk about is racism, but apparently the racism actually exists with the Democrats. In fact, I'll prove it to you. Now let's just take, for example, this nonsense. The Big Daddy-O, our exciting young new president, had to record a video for his followers. Remember, Big Daddy-O has followers, not supporters, to drum up support for the big 2010 midterm elections. He wanted to, quote-unquote, re-engage with these people. Well, let's just exactly see who he wanted to re-engage with. He told us, here they are. There were blacks. Well, that makes sense. You don't want to miss that acorn vote. Latinos, as he calls them. Well, that makes sense. After he makes about 15 million of them citizens. And the youth of America. Well, the youth of America may be a problem for him. And I'll explain why. The reason is Big Daddy-O has told them all that they are children until they're 26 years old. That means that the youth that are 26 years old will be sitting in the basements of their parents' house, smoking dope, playing World of Warcraft, and he'll probably forget to vote for him. And then he wanted the women vote. But everybody wants the women vote. But let's take a look at who isn't on that list. There were white people, but I guess he doesn't really need the white person vote. After all, they would be a typical white person vote, and nothing's worse than a typical white person vote. Then there were the Asians. He couldn't get the Asian votes. You know why? Well, A, they're smarter than he is, and B, he couldn't buy their votes. The Asians won't take any more of his IOUs. Then there was the old people vote. He doesn't need the old people vote either. But of course that is actually a conflict of interest with Big Daddy-O. You know why? Because he can't get them to vote for him one day and put them out to pasture the next. And then there was the Muslim vote. You'd think this guy would have the Muslim vote all sewed up. Barack Hussein Obama, Muslim vote. Makes sense to me. But the fact of the matter is, he didn't have this vote sewn up. But that's why he had the big entrepreneurial summit at the White House this week. The idea was to bring them all in there and tell them about good business practices, like he has with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. No, I'm sorry, that's Goldman Sachs. One's kind of the other, sort of. But it doesn't make any difference, because what he did was offer the Muslim business people shares in Goldman Sachs. That sealed that deal, baby. He's got every Muslim vote in this country now. But the one that gets me the best is the Jewish vote. He seems to think that he can't get the Jewish vote. But I don't think he wanted the Jewish vote to begin with. And after all, his little national security advisor, James Jones, and his anti-Semitic joke, boy, what a funny guy that guy is. That's over with. He'll never get that vote. But I don't think he wanted the vote anyways, because he's worried about a salary cap. So that's about all for now. But let me explain something to you. The real racism exists with the Democrats, not the Republicans. And I guess I'm just a typical white person. And if you're a typical white person, you might think about not voting for him. Until next time, this is John Reagan, the uncommon voice for the common man, saying, Thin.